Come back to these trends on TikTok where people are showing us budgets. They do a slideshow where they say total budget for graduation. You see those amounts. Those are the amounts that you could be starting businesses with.
They've been paying 100 for the past 4 years.
Yeah.
So 22.
You see, then you sit at home. How many graduates are vets graduates that are unemployed? Doctors that are unemployed, people with professional, degrees. Why is it a trend?
Yeah.
It's okay to wear your Sunday-based clothes
Sure.
that you've got and go to graduation. But we've created this culture that we have to have a full budget. And because we also have a culture where we all want to be employed. All of us want to be employed. All of us. You get that paper, you want to be employed.
Yeah.
But the amount of skills that we have, most of us, we can actually convert them into.
What do you think about the statement, a graduation should be the beginning of financial freedom, not the start of financial pressure? Because more people, are focusing on the graduation and how it
Yes.
looks on social media,
Yes.
and they're not really prioritizing
What happens after?
the graduation, yeah.
Yeah, I think we go through the motion of the studies, then you feel that graduation is the end. And I think that's where the problem is. Graduation is not the end. It is part of the process of where you want to go.
Okay.
Yeah,
When-
but it's the end because I just got them and you finance.
But it's not the end. You see, that's the wrong mentality. It's not the end.
It's the beginning of what?
It's the beginning of
Me looking for a job.
No, for acquiring a skill that can get you to where you want to go. I think when you look at it in that manner, you kind of block your potential because you think, okay, I've studied, graduation is the end. Now I must look for a job. You're not thinking, I've studied to acquire a skill for me to earn an income. There's a difference.
Oh.
So when you change your mindset in terms of how you look at studies, graduation, and an ability to earn an income or to acquire a skill, then earn an income, then your mindset changes. But if you're starting to say, I just want to study, finish, so that I qualify to get a job, then that's why we are stressed. That's why
Yeah.
half the country is stressed.
Oh,
Because
okay.
then we are going about it the wrong way.
Okay, but I don't know how to start a business. So the only thing I've been told is go to school, get good grades,
Yeah.
get a job.
Yeah.
But where's the
So-
intention in that studying part? So remember they said there's different professions out there.
Okay.
There is your professional professions where you're going to become a doctor or a nurse. Those are straightforward. You go, they are practical. Usually from first year, nurses or doctors or engineer, they've got practical work. But when you go on the commerce side, on the generic side, where it's not a professional degree, and you're just doing a degree for the sake of doing degree, what are your intentions? What is your plan? Is just to study, finish, and get a job. And that's why you don't find a job. Do you understand? Because you didn't intentionally say, okay, I want to go into business in the future. Because if you start with the mentality of, I want to study business because when I'm done here, I want to open my own business, it's a different ball game altogether. Because now while you are studying, you are making sure you're acquiring the right skills. During the time that you are studying, you are approaching businesses to go and convert that theory that you're using at varsity or in your studies into practical, so that when you are done, you are able to start your business. But if you just study to go look for a job, but you're doing a business degree, there's a misalignment there.
Okay.
And once there's a misalignment, then it becomes, then you sit and you wait for somebody to find a job for you or to tell you what to do because you never had a plan from the beginning.
Okay.
Do you think that's where most black people miss it? In terms of you don't study with intentionality.
Yeah.
You just study because you
Yeah.
want to get a job.
Yeah.
Whereas, and I'm sorry to put it place it on race, but what I've seen is that most white people don't post about their graduation. And I don't know what's the case. I'm assuming that most of them, once they're done with school, then they know, Hori, I've studied this and I had an intention behind it. And now my dad has a business, so now I have to go manage the business. Whereas, Tina, we want to show, on Instagram. It's not a problem, but we prioritize looking part over the,
the actual yes, aftermath. I think we there is a big misalignment, and because most of us are first generation graduates, we then focus on that to make our parents proud, our communities proud, to say I'm a graduate, and we emphasize on being a graduate, but we don't plan further than just being a graduate. And maybe because we never had the conversations that other races have with their families.
Sure.
Where then it says, okay, you want to go and study psychology. What is the path? What are your plans when you're done here? During the time when you are studying, are you finding other places to go and internship? Can I call somebody to help you with your internship so that you go through the right path? We study, we focus on graduation. Once we are done with graduation, we don't have a plan because we're just waiting for that paper so that we can now start looking at employment. We don't plan from the beginning. But remember, our parents never were able to have those conversations. We now don't know how to have those conversations. And so there's still that misalignment between school, being intentional about where you're going after school. We never plan about after.
Sure.
We always plan about what you're going to study. And usually even what we study, it usually depended on fashion. There was a point where everybody was studying IT. We are very fashion people.
Sure.
Sometimes engineering comes, we're all flooding there.
Sure.
This comes, we're all flooding, now we're all in social media. And I'm not saying people shouldn't, but what I'm saying is, think long term. What is my plan? Yes, I'm going to go to this institution to study design, but then what's the plan? Did you go and research and see what are the chances of you getting a job in that industry? Is there still a demand for that skill? What are the gaps in that industry that I can tap into?
Okay.
Do we check those things or not?
As you're saying, IT, engineering, law, whatsoever. I'm looking at the money. They say engineers earn. And it's true, really. Engineers do earn.
Yeah.
So I'm looking at that. I'm like, if I can if I enter that bracket also, I become an engineer. I go around saying I'm an engineer.
Yes.
Therefore, when I look for a job and say it's engineer, I'm set for life. That's why I'm going there. Even if it's a trend, it's a trend with money. We follow the money.
We're looking for security, basically.
Yeah, but you see, the thing is, if the whole country is looking for the same thing, but let's say there's only 100 jobs in engineering, and there's 100,000 of you applying, then what happens there?
Okay.
Then it becomes a problem. I mean, the perfect example is applications. Sure. Every year we look at matriculants applying to universities. The university will say, we've only a space for 10,000, but they received 1 million applications.
Yeah.
Now all these other, the balance is disappointed, to say this university has rejected me.
Sure.
Because we go and saturate a place where we know everybody wants to go to. Why don't we look at other avenues? And tap into that market. I did a BCom accounting undergrad. At that time, everybody was going into accounting, right? But I guess it wasn't in the cards for me because when I was looking for a job, I couldn't get a job. And you know why? All the interviews I went to, you don't have experience. Yeah, I'm a graduate. I just came from varsity. But I wasn't intentional. I can't say it was somebody else's responsibility. I decided to do a BCom accounting degree. I knew I wanted to do a BCom accounting degree, but I never planned for my further. I didn't. And I can't blame society or my parents, or I didn't do the research to say, what is my long-term plan? My plan was, I'm going to do what everybody's doing. I'm going to do a BCom, then I'm going to do an honors, then I'm write CTA, maybe become a CA. Do you understand? But it wasn't set in stone. I wasn't going out there and trying to find institutions that can take me on. Or during my degree, I didn't go and work.
But can you work during your degree?
Yeah, you can go in internship during holidays. You can.
Holidays, I must rest you. These courses are hard.
Yeah, but other people are doing that. We've got now in our business, we've got an person who's studying. They're coming in for 30 days. But they've got the free will to come in at any time and see how corporate life is, because we're preparing them for corporate. We didn't do that. Now we come to corporate. Corporate says, I want 2 years experience, 3 years experience. I don't have it because I was sitting there without a plan for 3 years in Bloemfontein. And then now I've got this paper, but I have no skills. I just have a paper. I have no practicals. I didn't have a plan.
Yeah.
All I thought was, I'm just going to sit there on PNet. Well, back in the day, we used to apply on PNet and Gum3. That's how old I am. And I was shooting into the sky and nothing caught. But then I went into something caught, which was financial planning. And then I diverted my whole career and I went into financial planning. So it wasn't because I planned to go into financial planning. It was because at the time, it was the only job that was available to me. But then I liked it. But I didn't plan.
Yeah.
Can you see?
Yeah.
But I was, unlike other people, it's just that I'm very strong-willed. And then I started thinking, this is very dangerous. What I just did, I can't keep, I need to start having a plan. Then I started planning my life. But look, I'm already planning it late.
Yeah.
Yes, it would have taken me a step back a little bit. But if I had planned previously, I would probably have pursued my accounting degree.
But why am I struggling? Because these, but it's not these, it's the truth. VETS is great. UCT is great. UJ is great. So why am I struggling? I just graduated. I mean, everyone will know, okay, I graduated from VETS. If I happen to graduate from VETS. So why am I struggling when it's written VETS, and VETS is so prestigious?
Because there's only so many jobs. And how many people are we in this country? And how many graduates are sitting with you on that graduation day? How many is sitting in that
But
hall?
none like me. I may be valedictorian there.
Yeah. Remember also with the guys that are, at the top, the cream of the crop.
Yeah.
They are usually already being identified by corporates. Okay. They work with the universities and then they hire you. Now, but what happens to the rest of the 300 that are not the cream of the crop?
Sure.
That just got the paper and they were passing at 50, 55, average is 55. Yeah, there's a lot of those.
Yeah.
And what happens to those people? Then they sit at home.
But
because
it's
but it doesn't guarantee you anything.
Why not?
No. Institution, how many graduates are VETS graduates that are unemployed? Doctors that are unemployed, people with professional, degrees that are still unemployed. So it's the amount of jobs and the number of graduates that don't tie in together. If there were enough jobs, then nobody would be unemployed. Graduates will come out and get employment. But there's only so many jobs. And then there's a big chunk of graduates. And because we also have a culture where we all want to be employed. All of us want to be employed. All of us. You get that paper, you want to be employed.
Yeah.
But the amount of skills that we have, most of us, we can actually convert them into a service business, and some businesses, yes, require money. But then we've got other skills that we can sell. Instead of sitting and waiting to be employed by the big corporates, we can actually,
Service.
service our client.
Yeah.
But also, somebody would say, but where do I get the money?
Sure.
And my, thing would come back to these trends on TikTok where people are showing us budgets. They do a slideshow where they say total budget for graduation. You see those amounts. Those are the amounts that you could be starting businesses with. Because the total amounts, if you go into TikTok and you search graduation, they will do a slide where the person will say total graduation, and then they'll say hair, 3,000, makeup, 1.2, photographer, 5,000, flowers, this much, what else? Accommodation, because maybe family is flying out, 6,000, dinner, 5,000, total 22,000. I'm thinking, that 22,000 is the capital.
But I've been paying over 100 for the past 4 years.
Yeah.
So 22.
You see, then you sit at home. Because you could take that 22 if, let's say, you are a podcaster. You can buy a camera, you can buy lighting, you can buy a mic, then we can sit here and you
have
can
a
offer us the service.
Sure.
Right?
Okay.
If you're a person who sells products, you can go buy stock and you sell. Right? If you need a business, for example, a service business, you start setting up your websites. You can do lots. I look at those. Some are 30,000, some are 40,000, and I'm looking at these young 22-year-olds, 23-year-olds spending that much money. Then we saw a lady who came onto stage and she was crying because she couldn't buy a new outfit, and then it became thing
trend,
on social media. But why is it a trend?
Yeah.
It's okay to wear your Sunday best clothes
Sure.
that you've got and go to graduation. But we've created this culture that we have to have a full budget for graduation. Why?
Yeah.
Because it's what are people gonna think?
You see
For
that?
4 years, I've been struggling to. I've been getting Boma 50, even if I was pivoting to the 80s, it's fine. But for 4 years, it's me and the
Hard
books.
work.
I'm even this thin.
Yeah.
I'm this thin now. The
Yeah.
best I could do is look my best for that day.
Yeah. I mean, looking your best can also be the things that you have. I think
Not
we've
the
moved-
cream
I think
of the
we've-
crop.
Yeah, but I think now we are losing it.
Mm.
Previously, our parents, or back then when we were graduating in the
Early,
2000.
yeah.
She's very
graduation
young,
wasn't this expensive. We didn't have makeup artists, but our pictures look amazing. And we took these pictures that they take on the stage. Those pictures are still sitting in the sitting rooms. They are proper now.
But man, no, let's be honest. How?
Yeah.
I agree with you, but I'm gonna disagree a bit.
That's fine.
How do those pictures look today?
They look
Quality
good.
wise, no. They look good. You looked good, yes. But how do the picture quality? How does it look? It's not the 4K that we have today. It's not 6K. So I
No,
need to
but
look
the
like
stage
6K.
pictures always look good. The ones that they take
For the
with the
stage.
photographers
Yeah.
and the photographers after the graduation, those look good. I'm not talking about the ones that they're taking on their phones for social media. I'm talking about the ones that the graduation houses come
Oh,
professionally.
okay.
Those come out proper. So now you're paying for those. Then you're paying a photographer 2.5 separate.
Yeah.
Fine, for a book or a booklet or for social media pictures because you want to show us. Then there is the expensive makeup. Okay, right. Nah? Then there is transport costs, then there's accommodation, all of these things. And now your family's struggling already, and then they are coming to this big event, and then there must be a dinner. Then the cost runs up quickly. Now, then you are done, you're going home. Then you're sitting at home. Then what?
Do you think after graduation, students should actually look forward to corporate as a person that's been in corporate yourself?
We need to be prepared for corporate
Why do you say that?
because we get so many things wrong. We get a reality shock. when we get to corporate, because nobody prepares us for corporate.
But when are they supposed to prepare us for corporate? I mean, you stuck with this theory. We're perfecting the skill here in varsity. So where are you going to get the time to prepare for that corporate?
You make time. When I was in Bloemfontein, I worked at a company because home was far. I thought one June holiday, instead of just going and chilling at home for 4 weeks, I asked a nice company to come and just sit and do administration. Just see how a normal work day is from 8
to
until
5.
5. Yo, it was a long day.
For free? Was it free?
Yeah, it was for free. Because I wanted to experience.
But look, we're not for free.
Yeah, no,
I must
no.
drive
I'm
that
just
polo.
saying.
I understand
yeah.
what you're saying. But I must drive that polo. So if you're telling me to go work for free,
you can. So for me at that time, I wanted to see how corporate works.
Oh, okay.
But when you are interning, people do pay.
All right.
Right? They'll pay you a stipend or some form of that. But for me at that point, I wanted to see, because I used to be like, in my mind, I used to be like 8 to 5, because school teaches you 7 to 2. And already you are tired.
Yeah.
Now 8 to 5. When you experience a whole full day, you are like, yo. And now you start seeing office politics. You start experiencing office drama, But I think we don't get exposed to those things.
Okay.
And those things are very important for us to experience at the beginning, because then it also gives you direction of where you want to go when you start working. Because maybe you think you like a certain thing until you get into corporate, you're like, what? This is not what I was anticipating or imagining. Now I thought when I'm going to be here an accountant, this is what I'm going to do I'm going to be a lawyer. I was expecting suits. And it's not Harvey Specter stuff here. I'm at court and then I'm doing documents. So we need the reality of those things. And I think planning does come into perspective, and it's our responsibility to go out there. It's unlikely that somebody would say no, right? And I'm saying this because I've had people ask me that don't know me, that see me on social media, to say, can I come to your company? Recently I got a text from this lady. She introduced herself. She sent me a CV. I just want to come in internship. And I said, sure. All right? Okay. She'll be joining us soon. But what I'm saying is, because people, when they think internship, they focus on the big corporates. Those big corporates have red tape. They won't just say, come in. But there's so many small businesses that need assistance and hands. And they can offer you an exchange with skill by teaching you skills. But we don't want that, because you want to say, I internship at Deloitte, I internship at Ernst & Young or at F&B or Standard Bank. You want that status for you to say, this is where I internship. Then people would think, oh, you're really internshipping there, wow. Whereas you come and internship at a small business, you see the day-to-day operations, you see the business holistically, then you get to decide, no, man, maybe I don't like marketing. Maybe I like finance. Then you're able to pivot into that space. But also, you've got time to look and see what you actually like properly, because you are there. And then when you finish with your degree, you've already established a relationship, number one, with that company or those companies. Now you've got freedom of choice to say the company can now decide if they want to hire you, they can, because now they know you. You've worked with them, you've internshipped with their company, you've created those relationships. Maybe I've even connected you with somebody else. Maybe a stakeholder, we realize, or actually you match with my stakeholder.
Sure.
And then I'm like, guys, Josh, actually I've got this lady who wants to do podcasting. She's very good with marketing. Maybe you guys she can shadow you. And then maybe she is brilliant, and then she becomes your assistant, or she becomes part of your team. You understand? Then you're expanding. And so when we think degree internship, we're thinking big corporates only. People don't think the small businesses?
Again, again, it's that thing. I just graduated.
Yeah.
There's no way from my Wits business school
That you're going to come
I
and
am
work for a
going to
small
come
business.
and work for a small business.
You see, that's the wrong mentality, because that's a stepping stone to where you want to go. Would you rather then sit at home?
I would rather sit.
Okay.
Yeah, but you want a salary, so
Yeah, you
So,
want a salary.
okay,
You want to
okay.
buy a polo.
Oh,
What
yes,
about
I want to
a
buy a
polo?
polo.
Yeah.
Ne?
So you
Mara
think
ishebe
Kafalo
so.
can pay you?
No, she can pay me. Ne?
Yeah.
But what Deloitte is going to pay me is not what How is going to
But
pay
how
me.
do you know that?
It's small. You know, there are things, ne? There are things that we normally see. Like, for example, when you go to an
Perceptions.
interview,
Yeah.
when you go to an interview and you see the boss is there, just know. I just
the
know.
company's not
I just there's no payment. There's no
You
payment.
see what the
there.
boss is driving, you're like,
Yeah, you just see two cars. You're like, there's no way.
there's no way.
But,
There's
but
no
out
way.
of that, don't you get, like she's saying, skills?
Money,
And
skills,
that-
later, manifest.
That improves your portfolio.
Portfolio.
And your experience.
I don't have
and then
money.
You're able to.
At home, I must take care of my mother. I must take care of my father. And you're coming to tell me I must earn 4,000. When?
But
With what?
who- are you saying small businesses then pay little?
There are many pay little.
I don't agree with that. I've worked for big
Yeah.
corporates. I used to hire.
Uh-huh.
And it's a very big misconception
That small businesses.
that,
Big businesses.
yeah,
pay more.
actually, people in big corporates sometimes go to small business because small businesses pay more. And then they move back into corporate. So what they'll do is they'll be in a corporate, they'll move to a small company. Small companies always offer more money. Then they move back into the corporate because now they've got a bigger salary to negotiate with. That's how people move. And that's how when we play the corporate game, we do that. So it's not always the case. I mean, there's call centers everywhere for the big corporates, and the guys don't get paid.
But it's call center. Everyone.
No,
knows.
but what I'm saying is we remember different skills, different roles.
Yeah.
And I can't say all roles.
Sure.
I worked for big corporates. There was parts where I earned a little, but I worked for a big company, and people just say, but you work in Sandton. Most of my jobs were in Sandton. And I had this cousin who used to say, but you work in Sandton, why are you driving this car? Do you understand? But then my salary could not buy me anything more than that.
Yeah.
However, later in my career, in the same business, when I grew and I got promoted, I was earning triple that salary, or even five times more. I was earning a very big salary. But another person could be sitting next to me in the same office, not far from me, but they're earning a fraction of what I'm getting paid.
Sure.
But you would think, seeing us getting into the same office building, you think that all the people in that company, no.
Okay.
So we mustn't have those misconceptions about, because a company is big, automatically it means a higher salary. A company is small, automatically that means they pay less. No, that's where we get it wrong. And I think that's what our youth is, sometimes it kind of puts them on the back foot, because then, like I said, they don't approach small businesses. You guys are a small business. You should be getting, let's say, graduates coming in and helping you acquire bigger deals so that you get more money, right? And you are then also transferring skill at the same time. And when those big deals come in and you've got a whole team, you are out there getting more clients and not focusing on editing and setting up. And you've got a team that sets up, you've got a team that edits, you've got a pre-production, post-production, looking for clients, and all you're doing is making money. You understand? Okay. And then from there, your company will grow. But you cannot grow if you don't get the right skills, and people are sitting and all waiting for 5 jobs that are sitting at a certain corporate, and then there's 100 of them, when there's small businesses like us that could use those skills. And then if they want to go work for the big corporates, no problem, but at least we exchanged some value in that process, and we don't undermine small businesses because I went to Wits.
Okay.
Yeah, and
So
by
in
the way, I
closing-
also have a Wits degree.
Clock it.
Yeah,
So in closing, I have a question. So what do you have to say to that one who has matric? Should he just discard this whole degree diploma thing, or can he also pivot or with his matric, or should he go also into varsity?
No, so learning comes in different ways.
Okay.
Learning doesn't always mean degree. You can have a matric. You can then, decide what industry you want to go into. Then once you get into that industry that you or you want, or you want to then grow,
Pivot to.
then you can learn a skill in that. You can go and then either do a degree if you have to, or acquire a certain certificate, because some professions don't need to have a degree. You can just have a certificate that then qualifies you to either be a plumber or be an electrician, or do a certain skill. So there's not one way to learn. There's multiple ways to learn. You can learn through a lot of things. And now with social media, having access to material, it doesn't have to be formal learning. You can also do informal learning. There's webinars, there's podcasts. You listen to people that will provide you with those skills. And then the only thing that you need to do is execute. That's one part we fail at. If you can learn and execute, you are done. You can even go to university and still not execute, and that degree can be useless. You understand? So learning comes in different forms. We mustn't always think then it's learning, it's graduation. That means I'm better than the person who doesn't have a degree. No. There's other avenues that we can learn, expand our knowledge, different industries, different ways of getting to the same goal. And the goal is we all want to make money.
But we're not the same.
The goal is to make money.
No, I understand the goal is to make money.
The goal is to make money. And there's
But we're not
different
the
ways to
same.
skin a cat.
We're not the same.
Yeah, we're not the same.
I used to make this comparison back in high school. That you can't say English SAL, second additional language, English HL. It's not the same. So ibar Wits so and so. UCT so and so. So it becomes that thing. That's why we end up having the mentality, I'm better because.
Yeah, but we need to remove that.
Okay.
We need to remove that. And we need to not gauge ourselves in terms of where we went to, because that also delays us. Yeah, or UCT, that means I'm not going to work this minimal job. And then we sit unemployed. And I'm not saying unemployment is not a real crisis, but then some ways we're also blocking ourselves by saying we can't do certain jobs. I remember when I started working, people used to laugh at me because I used to work at Old Mutual and say, I sell insurance. But she went to varsity. Look at her now, she's selling insurance. But I was working, I was earning a salary. I could pay for an apartment, I had a car.
Sure.
And then I built my life from there. Today, but I didn't start off in the best, what people consider the best way. But to me, I thought that was the best. Let me tell you, I was like, this is nice. I'm getting a salary. At the time, I was straight from varsity and I got my first salary, 8,000 Rand. I was like, whoa, this is a lot of money.
Sure.
That was in 2012.
Yo.
Yeah, that was a lot
a lot of money.
Yes, 8,000 Rand. And people used to laugh at me back home and say, her parents paid so much money for a BCom accounting degree for her to sell insurance. People that sell insurance don't have qualifications. Yeah, can you see? If I was somebody, I would have quit and be like, but I'm selling insurance. But then then I was able to pivot and go and study. Now I'm a certified financial planner.
Say it again.
You see? So we must remove those mentalities and what people are saying about certain professions. Yeah, I'm a plumber. So what? We need plumbing. We're all struggling.
Yeah.
You understand?
We're breaking pipes.
Yeah. We don't have electricity. We don't have this. We don't have that. Get those skills that we are missing because we're all looking at one skill. We can't all be lawyers, guys. We can't all be engineers. We can't all be doctors. Somebody must come and clean, Yeah. So we must leave that mentality and stop classifying jobs and thinking this one is lower than others and people are going to think that. Then you'll go hungry.
Okay.
And hunger is not a choice.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
So, in closing, be an actor like me. We can be lawyers, we can be doctors, we can be certified financial planners. Anything we want. We've been to corporate, we've been to what? We've been in the medical
Everywhere,
room.
man.
So we've been everywhere. And out. Oh yeah, like, subscribe, comment, share, follow her.
She has a YouTube
Follow
channel,
her.
guys.
Yes.
So make
Follow
sure
her.
But anyways, thank you guys. Peace out.
Thank you.